Michael Cohen did not sign a deal that obligates him to cooperate with prosecutors today, but he did plead guilty, and in his plea, he did directly implicate the president in participation in 2 felonies related to the campaign, 2 campaign finance violations for which Mr. Cohen himself looks like he will now expect to do jail time. Is Michael Cohen done? There was no mention of the special counsel or the special counsel's ongoing investigations in his case today. Is there any connection at all between the special counsel's work and what just happened to Mr. Cohen today? Joining us now is Lanny Davis. It's Michael Cohen's personal attorney, former special White House counsel to President Bill Clinton. Mr. Davis, I'm really happy that you're here tonight. Thanks for joining us.
I just want to say it's a long time that I've wanted to be on your show, Rachel, and watch you all the time, and I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate you being here. I know that you have a lot of other things to be doing tonight. Your client pled guilty to 8 counts today. It was a standard plea agreement, as far as we could tell, not a cooperation agreement. Was that an option for you and your client? Why wasn't there any cooperation deal?
Well, there are certain things I can answer directly, so let me try to answer this indirectly. When I decided to represent Mr. Cohen, it was because he committed to me early on in many conversations that he wanted to tell the truth about Donald Trump. And we talked about what he knew about Donald Trump. This was one of the subjects. So whether I use the word cooperation or not, and my colleague Guy Petrillo will know the answer to your question, it's truth that Michael Cohen is committed to, and it's the truth that so threatens the President of the United States, who has consistently lied, in fact, on this issue, denied knowing about these payments until Rudy Giuliani, his lawyer, waiving attorney-client privilege, said, oh, he knew about the payments, directly contrary to the lie on Air Force One. So to answer your question, Mr. Cohen is dedicated to telling the truth. If that amounts to the word cooperation, I'll leave that to my cohort, great criminal defense lawyer Guy Petrillo, to explain.
The special counsel's office, special counsel Robert Mueller, and any of his prosecutors don't appear anywhere in any of the court filings today. They weren't discussed in court. That makes them a sort of looming presence in this this story and in what we know about the future of your client, the future of Michael Cohen. Is there anything to do with the special counsel that was involved in this plea agreement today? Has the special counsel approached Michael Cohen already about whether he would like to speak some of that truth to their inquiry in addition to what he's just faced in SDNY?
So I can't tell you the answer to that question about contacts between Michael and the special counsel, but I can tell you that Mr. Cohen has knowledge on certain subjects that should be of interest to the special counsel, and is more than happy to tell the special counsel all that he knows, not just about the obvious possibility of a conspiracy to collude and corrupt the American democracy system in the 2016 election, which the Trump Tower meeting was all about, but also knowledge about the computer crime of hacking and whether or not Mr. Trump knew ahead of time about that crime and even cheered it on. And we know he publicly cheered it on, but did he also have private information? One thing to say about Michael Cohen, if I might, Rachel, is that he's been through a very tough day. His wife and his 2 children and his family are, I would say, suffering from this type of event, and so is Michael. But in one very important respect, Michael is relieved. He's a good man with a good heart that I've discovered, but he's relieved and liberated is the word I would say to your audience, because now he has no shadow hanging over him. The uncertainty is gone. He has stepped up to the line, and he has admitted what he did wrong, but he is now liberated to tell the truth, everything about Donald Trump that he knows, that led him to approach someone like me, who he knows politically doesn't share anything with President Trump. And from this point on, you're going to see liberated Michael Cohen speaking truth to power.
In terms of what you just said there, I just want to underscore what you referenced, that Mr. Cohen has information about the president and his advanced knowledge of the crime of hacking during the campaign. And you're saying that Mr. Cohen, whether or not he's already spoken to the special counsel's office, he would be happy to discuss that with the special counsel, separate and apart from everything that happened today in the Southern District of New York.
Well, I hate to be overly legalistic with you, but I'm not going to confirm what knowledge Michael has. I will confirm that Mr. Mueller, who I greatly respect, will have a lot of interest in what Michael has to say. And by the way, on just the crime of directing somebody to commit a crime, as you pointed out in your opening, it was a crime for President Trump to direct Michael Cohen to the crime of a campaign finance donation that exceeded the legal limitations. There's something else interesting that isn't so obvious. Why didn't President Trump do this himself? Why didn't he write or sign the check himself? Was he covering up because he knew that there was something wrong in what he was doing, so he directed his lawyer to do something that he didn't want anybody to know that he did? I think the answer to that question is obvious. So there's a cover-up here by our now President of the United States that is undeniable. He directed Michael Cohen to make this payment of $130,000. He didn't have the courage, or at least didn't want to expose himself politically so soon before the election, so he directed his lawyer to do that which he was not willing to do.
Lanny Davis, attorney for Michael Cohen. Mr. Davis, thank you for being here. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
Much appreciated. To that last point that Mr. Davis was making about President Trump directing Michael Cohen to make these payments instead of making them himself, one of the things that we learned today in this criminal information is that when Trump directed Cohen to do it, it could not have been out of convenience. One of the other felonies to which Michael Cohen pled today was lying to a bank in order to get a $130,000 home equity loan, which is what he tapped to make the payment to Stormy Daniels, which President Trump had directed him to make. So this is not like Michael Cohen was the easy choice here. Michael Cohen had to commit another felony in order to scratch the cash together to make that payment at the president's direction. He did get paid back handsomely for it, but now he looks like he'll go to jail for it. The question is what will happen to the president for it. More to get to. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.